Hello, Floss Tube. It's Sunday, May 7th, 2023, and this is Monica with Peaceful Times, and I'm here to talk to you about my stitching. I've been gone for a bit because we had spring break, and I was blessed to be able to visit our son who's at Luke Air Force Base out in Phoenix, Arizona. And my husband has an aunt and uncle that live in Mesa. So we flew from Rockford, Illinois to Mesa, both really small airports, and it's so lovely. If you fly a lot out of Chicago, which we do when we do go, it's there's a lot better experiences in life than fighting and getting in and out of O'Hare and Midway. So anytime we get to fly out of Rockford, which I've done a couple times now, I just love it. It's so wonderful to be able to fly in and out of there. Today is finally warm, and so I've got the shades open on our windows over here, so there's a lot of natural light coming in. But of course, there's a lot of clouds as well out today, so you're going to see my natural lighting coming and going as I go. I'm trying to get this video in kind of quickly. Normally I plan things out a little bit better, so we're just going to wing it today. I'm going to start with the closest thing I have to a fully finished, which this was part of last month's WIPGO, and it was Easter Wreath. It says Happy Easter on the inside. It's by Tiny Modernist. Hopefully you can kind of see it. It was actually a pretty quick stitch. This is how I finished it. You can't really see that it's on an opalescent, cloth, but it is. And I just decided it's 14 count, so it's, the thicker, harder, doesn't quite snuggle down to a perfectly smooth edging to it. But I've got some pom-poms and some rickrack coming. So I'm going to put a set around the outside here of, I don't know, pink or yellow. I've got a whole bunch coming, or green even. And you can't see, I mean, at least to me looking here, the coloring isn't quite right. But it's a very bright, springy, pretty, pastel-y set of colors. So anyway, that's almost a fully finished. So this was just a frame that I got from Kohl or from Target. I think I showed it last time, and then I painted it. It's the $3 ones that they have in the dollar bins, in that area. So, but it's a really bright, like aqua color, and here it's looking more blue from what I can see, but maybe the color will pick up better. The other one that I did finish was Autumn Rules. It's not a fully finished. This is by Primrose Cottage Stitches. And I was able to get it finished. I worked on this a lot on the plane, and I had it about half done or so the last time I showed it. And then while I was sitting on the plane and at night, I was able to finally finish it off. So I really like the way it turned out. I did use what it was called for, which is a 25 count vintage country mocha. So I have a board that I purchased at the end of the season at Michael's, I believe, for like 80% off. So I'm in hopes of getting it mounted onto some sticky board and then put onto that. So that one's finished. Then what I've worked on is the 2 WIPGO numbers called, which were 20 last time. They were 2 and 22. So one was for March was Easter, the Happy Easter one that I first showed. The other one was Yo Crow. That was the pillow that I showed last time, and I finished those 2. And then April's were, I'm looking here real quick. For April, I had 5, which was Lantern Lane, which I'm going to show you, and 17, which was Autumn Rules. So I did get 17 done, and I did not get Lantern Lane done. But this is a Little House Needleworks, and it's been done 1,000 times, so I'm sure you've seen it before. But it's Little House Needleworks Lantern Lane, and I know I've showed it, my progress on it, but I started in on the house. So here we go. I got the tree done, the bird done, the first lantern done, and started in on the house. Now, I've also, thing that I'm frustrated with is there is snow here, but you can't see it very well. So I may go over the top of it with a lighter colored thread later, right before I get done. Just one thread. A lot of times I'll do that so that it doesn't get real thick and thready, but will kind of lighten up the color, just so that you can see it a little bit better, because it really blends in. This is on 28 count mushroom. It's a Lugana Brittany mushroom. So I really like it. I love working on it. It's so soft and it works great. But color-wise, I might change out the white to make it a little bit lighter later. So then this month and I really don't get a chance to do a lot of extra, like I've said in the past, but this month I've been able to do the next set, which were called 23 and 25. So my 23 was Looks Like Christmas, and that's this pattern here. This is a Shannon Christine Designs. So it's just the cute little wagon with the tree beginning to look a lot like Christmas. And this is my start. So I chose these colors, DMC, typically that's what I use, DMC and Classic Colorworks. And this was my start, the wagon. I started in the center. I didn't iron it, sorry. And there's a million different colors in this. A lot of her designs, or some of the other designers that design like her with the gradation of things, just end up calling for a ton of colors in a ton of different places. So I love it. I love the way it looks. You get the wood grain in there and the little popping through of the Christmas tree, but it just takes some time. So that's one that I'm doing. That's the one I'm going to do the first half of the month. So that's why I started that one. And then the second half that I got called was Think Spring, that I had put on there. And this is a Lizzie Kate. That's super cute. And it came, I'll say, as a kit, meaning it didn't come with thread, but it did come with the fabric. And the fabric is a 28 count cashel linen. So it's a called green sapphire. Now, I don't think it looks anything like the picture. So this in the picture this is a much more mint green, and this is a bright, more springy green, So there's a little difference there. Again, some of it is, maybe if I come back, in the just in the coloring. It is greener than it's showing up on there, and so maybe being in the plastic is keeping it too, so we'll pull it out. So here's the green. It is greener than it's showing, I think, on the monitor, but it's a hint of green. And then I just went through, and I had some of the colors, but I didn't have all of them, and I just picked something close that I thought would work. And the white I changed out because it wasn't very white. It was more creamy, and it just kind of blended in. So I definitely wanted, because I think the bunny pops on there, and I wanted the bunny to pop on here too. So I picked a whiter white, the normal like 3865. So I kind of like using that one a lot. So that's the one I'll be working on the second half of this month. I might do a video like at the end of the month, like in 3 weeks, instead of waiting. I get done with school. That's the other thing. It's been super hectic. I had a book fair when we came back right away. I had 1 week to prepare, and it came in that week. And then setting up. And we always have our spring concert that goes with it. So it gives us a family night so that all the grandparents and the parents can come in there and the kids can show the parents, well, I really want this book, or I really want, to have this eraser or this pen or whatever. And we went with a different book fair this time. It's called I-55, and I work at a Christian school. So it's an all Christian book fair, and we didn't have to pull off a lot of books this time, which was wonderful. And they had a lot of variety, huge variety, so many classics, such good sets of reading, lots of nonfiction that the kids are going to love. Um, and then just your normal, like, fun ones, like your Magic Tree House. And they had a bunch of those and graphic novels. And the kids are loving the graphic novels these days. So it's fun to see some of the classic ones that have been around forever. Hardy Boys, Nancy Drew, all of those are coming out with. We had Snoopy and Charlie Brown in graphic novels. There was a Harriet Tubman graphic novel. There was The Hobbit in a graphic novel. I mean, it was awesome. They had such good stuff that we have not seen, like with Scholastic and some of the other ones before. So we were pleasantly surprised. But unfortunately, in this area, we've got crazy weather all the time, and so we've had a lot of hail. And I don't know if it comes from the cloud seeding that's kind of going on or what they're doing, but we always get hail a little bit, every other year or so, but we've had it numerous times this year. Like my car's got about 7 dings on it from sitting out in the hail. But it damaged the roof right above our gym, our big gym. We have 2 gyms. We've got a big gym and then a smaller gym. And so the floor, a couple days before, like right about the time that I just had gotten it set up, so maybe it was Thursday or Friday before the book fair started, and we weren't having it in the gym. We were having it in what we call the Roost, which is our wrestling room. But unfortunately, the concert was going to be held in the gym. So the floor's all wet, and still to this day, we are trying to get it dried out. And now it's been, I don't know, they've been working on it. This is the 3rd or 4th week that they've been, they've got equipment and things in there trying to suck it out. So anyway, I didn't have my family night, so I was worried about sales, but God came through, and we ended up with we met our goal and exceeded our goal, and really ended up exceeding the amount that we were ever supposed to, that we've made in the past, with other book fairs. So I think a lot of it had to do with the great variety that they had and the stuff that the kids loved. So it was wonderful. It turned out good, but it's just very stressful, and it's a lot of extra work. So a lot of nights that I'd stay afterward and things for parents to come in and be able to shop with their kids. So anyway, now that I'm done with that, wrapping up the school year, I'm the reading specialist, so I have to do all the testing. So I've got about 300 kids that need to get tested. We've started a little bit with a couple of the teachers that know how to do it, help out and work in their classrooms to get them started. And I have a retired teacher that comes in. She's sweet as pie and helps me all the time. And so I'm excited to get to work with her again the next couple of weeks as we get all the kids tested and send them on their way. And pray that we did enough, right? That's always the question at the end of the year. I always look at my kids and I'm just like, oh man, did I do enough? Did we get you where we needed to be for next year? You always hope you do. That's all you can do. So I'm going to show you some of the haul that I got when we were in Arizona. There's a store in Phoenix, and I think it's Phoenix. It might be Chandler. I don't know. It's called In the Attic, and I think it's the biggest cross-stitch store. Now, I say that. I've been only to very few cross-stitch stores, but it was massive. I've been to every quilt store in the country that I can ever have gone to, anywhere that I've ever been. I stop at every, quilt store for the last 25 years. And this would have been big for a quilt store, let alone a cross-stitch store. Oh my, I was blown away. Our whole family went. My 3 kids came, and a lot of what I picked out, they picked out for me to stitch for them. So this is the only one I picked, really, for myself. And this is called, it's a Scarlett house, which I love. It's called School Days. How fitting, right? And it has 3 little projects in there that I thought were super cute. And it also, they had this little kit to go with it. It's got 28 count Vicky and black. So these are the 2 pieces to stitch on. And Vichy, maybe it's Vichy, Vichy. I don't know. I hope I'm not saying that wrong. Nikki Creations. I don't know. That's the really cool plaid. Okay, and that's what's gonna have this pillow on with the schoolhouse. So I'm excited. It should be fun. So I have to get some threads for that, and then I can work on that in between things. And then my husband liked this one a lot. This one's called Let Freedom Ring. I have another Let Freedom Ring that I want to start as well. It's a lot bigger than this one. But this one might get done first because it's a lot more doable in a shorter amount of time. So we'll see about that. And then all of us kind of like this one. This is from Priscilla's Pocket. It's Patriot's Trio. And they had a bunch of these done. Now, I'll be honest, so often I look at a picture and I'm like, ugh. They're okay, but they're not like, wow. I mean, I probably wouldn't buy this if I hadn't seen them. This one's my favorite, but my kids and husband liked those. Then on the back, they show them done on paddles. And I was like, kind of like the paddle idea too. So this was a neat one to get. And then the last one is from Threadwork Primitives, and it's Patriotic Rose. This one's pretty. This one's very pretty. Now, the only thing I might do differently is I might use, it calls for it doesn't say what color, it just says 32 count linen. I would probably choose a little bit darker linen. I do love the color of it because it's just soft and yummy. It's buttery. But because you can't see the eagle head as well on this, I may choose a little bit darker background or maybe even a different color thread for the eagle face, eagle head, whatever. But this was super cool too. So I'm excited to dive into those and get those accomplished. Speaking of Arizona and being with my son, last weekend he was given what they call a civilian day. And that is where they come in to work in civilian clothes, and then they were let go for the day. So his commanding officer called him. It might have even been one a little bit higher up than his normal commanding officer. And just said, "Hey, Gum," that's her last name, Gum. "Hey, Gum, you doing all right?" And it was like really out of the blue and bizarre, and he was like, "Yeah, why?" Like, "Why are you calling me on the weekend?" It was like Sunday. He's like, "Why are you calling me?" He's like, "Well, just show up in civilian clothes tomorrow, but be there at whatever time, and you can just come in civilian clothes. You've got a civilian day tomorrow." And he's like, "Okay." He's like, "We'll talk about it then." Well, he had heard a little bit of what was going on, but come to find out, he had known about one of the incidences, but there was 4 incidences that happened over 18 hours. So in his flight, so in his small, and it's not that small, I mean, there's still quite a few of them, but in his group, in his flight of people on base, one had committed suicide, shot himself in the dorms, and one drank himself to death. One got in a horrible motorcycle accident and just, there wasn't much left. And then another one was in critical condition at the time. So they have them sit down, they try and talk to him. A lot of times, when you've got young people like this, and I'm talking young people, like 30s and below. My son is a younger one for sure. He's only 20, but all the guys that he's with are, most of them are in their 20s or early 30s. And, you know, these kids, I'll say, because even the 30-year-olds are kids to me, a lot of times think they're invincible, right? They don't think anything can happen to them. It always happens to somebody else. And things are tough now. Things are tough all around. And I think these kids in the military as well, you know, probably feel a lot of what's going on in general. And so they're struggling. So it was a time for them to kind of come together and hopefully squelch or bring to the surface anybody else that's struggling so that they could get the help that they need. And they had a whole bunch, not a whole bunch, they had a couple of really higher up guys come and talk to them about, you know, some of their struggling issues and things and what they've done, you know, whether it's therapy or meds or whatever to help them get through it. And, you know, I think this week I've heard from friends that I don't work with, but maybe go to church with or just friends with outside of life, had a rough week. I had a day that, like, I ended up just breaking down at work. But sometimes you just need to do that, you know, and so my encouragement to you this week is to take care of yourself and to take care of those around you. You know, we go through just times where we struggle, you know, like things aren't necessarily getting easier right now in general. And I'm not trying to be, you know, not trying to get into anything. I'm just saying in life, you know, we go through ups and downs. We have our hills and we have our valleys. And so take care of yourself, you know, spend some time and try and be grateful, you know, it's hard, especially if you're struggling to look at the things that are good in your life. But I know that that's the one thing that does get me through. And I was grateful to be at work, even though on one hand it's hard because you just want to break down and you just want to give yourself time to like process or grieve or, you know, deal with whatever, you know, and it was such a goofy thing. It was not even anything major, but it was just, there was so much that it was the little piece of straw that broke the camel's back, right? And just whoosh, the floodgates came. But I was grateful to also be at work to like, okay, I gave myself, you know, a little bit of time, got my composure, next class comes in. You know, you have to keep moving. You've got to move forward. And that's, I guess, been a redeeming factor for me is, you know, just continuing to move forward, knowing that, you know, and then as I look back now, I'm like, what was I, you know, why did that make me so upset? Just because things do. You get stressed, you get, you know, bogged down with the things of life, and sometimes we just have to break, right? We break, and breaking lets us move past and get on to the next thing. So anyway, on to giveaway winners. Last time I had 3 things that we gave away. The first is a pink pair of scissors. These are little 4-inch lifetime guarantee embroidery type, you know, scissors. They have a little vinyl protective thing at the top. It'll probably be lost. If it was mine, it would be anyway. So those go to Char J57. CHARJ57. Contact me. Let me know. Send me your name and address, and I will get those out to you. The next one was a purple pair of scissors, and these went out to Kathy Morrison, 1405. Kathy Morrison, 1045. So send me your name and address. And the last set is the assorted needles, the tulip needles, and these went to Allison Morris, 8003. Allison Morris, 8003. I have 2 other things that we can give away for next time. I do have another pair of these scissors, so if you want these, this is number 1. And number 2 is the Oh Dear pattern. Cute little Christmas, like reindeer, Rudolph. From Stitch Quarterly. It was one of those featured last time. So That's number 2. Like and subscribe if you've not done so. You need to be a subscriber and like in order to win. And I look forward to talking to you next time. Hopefully I'll see you in a lot shorter time, maybe 3 weeks. Take care.